Welcome back to the third Saturday in October, your SEC tailgating podcast for the rest of us. First, before we get to Kentucky, big news breaking yesterday. The SEC unanimously votes to allow Texas and Oklahoma to join starting in the 2022 season. So it's a year from now. So next media days, we're going to have 16 teams to cover. Bring on the Longhorns, bring on the Sooners. Welcome to the SEC. We'll see you in a year. But now let's get to Kentucky. Mark Stoops, head coach at Kentucky, just kind of one of those old school coaches, not showing a whole lot of emotion. Really likes defense. Really likes running the ball. That was their style last year. They've also kind of had to do that with quarterback injuries last couple seasons. But he acknowledged the tough season that Kentucky had last year. I mean, everybody had a tough season, but then they lost a coach who passed away during the season. Number of other things going on, but that's just really tough. He said he still wants to build and develop, meaning recruit high school players, get them in his system, develop them in his system. But the transfer portal has changed things. He did acknowledge that. Later, he was asked about the transfer portal again, and he said with the transfer portal, you have to re-recruit players. When he has a player enter the portal, he doesn't give up on them. Like, not that some coaches just give up on players, but he really works hard at re-recruiting them back to the team, which is very interesting to hear. And really the only thing other of note is he said he hired his new offensive coordinator specifically to open up the passing game, to develop the passing game. I think he knows that's the way that football and college football is going, to more of a pass heavy offense. He still wants to run the ball, but he knows that the passing game has to develop if Kentucky's going to succeed. So good to see him talk about that. You know, I think he's probably watched Nick Saban do it at Alabama. Nick Saban, very defense first coach, likes to run the ball. Then Lane Kiffin gets to town for his offensive coordinator, opens things up, and Saban hasn't looked back since. So maybe that's what Stoops is trying to do over at Kentucky. Then we saw Josh Paschal, defensive end, talk. First thing he said, the goal is Atlanta. Their first priority is get to the SEC championship game. And really the only other comment that stood out to me was he said the players are going to be the ones holding other players accountable. It's, the coaches aren't holding the players accountable. The players are holding each other accountable. He wants it to be a player-led team, and he says it is. But just really impressed with Josh Paschal's demeanor, his energy. He really excited to be there. Not a deer in headlights by any means. So really great to see that young man there at SEC Media Days. And then Darian Kinnard, offensive lineman, who is moving to left tackle this year. That's a very important position on the offensive line, because when a quarterback's dropping back to pass, a right-handed quarterback is going to have their back to the left side. That left tackle has to block the defensive end who comes around and gets a lot of sacks. That defensive end is out of the quarterback's line of sight. They don't see him. It's the quarterback's blind side. So that left tackle has to be just a fantastic blocker to give that quarterback time, to make that quarterback feel comfortable dropping back and passing. So Darian Kinnard has a lot on his plate this year. A lot of pressure, but he seems ready to handle it. Again, he opened up saying he's looking to Atlanta. They want to make it to Atlanta. I thought it was great that both players came out and said, look, that's where we want to be. They finished fourth in the SEC last year. They beat Tennessee, who was supposed to finish third. I thought, maybe they had a shot, but Missouri surprised some people and kind of took that third spot that Tennessee vacated. So Kentucky was still in fourth, but I mean, they put up a fight against all the teams in the East. They can do it. They can hang with the best of the East. So can they get over that hump this year? We'll see. Darian Kinnard's also excited about the new offensive system. He was praised for being a very good run blocker last year. He said, I'm excited about this new system. I think I'm going to be even better in this new system. Also was asked about playoff expansion, creating more games and player safety. And his comment was, hey, we want to go to the NFL. The NFL plays 16 games. So we either have to get ready for it now or we have to get ready for it later. But we got to be ready to play more games if the NFL is where we're going. And then just talking about competition, kind of reference the NFL again, you're always going to have somebody coming after your spot on the depth chart. Again, you got to get ready for it now or later. And then finally, they wrapped with just talking about his relationship with his mom, how much he loves his mom. He said, quote, "I know y'all love y'all's mama, but I think I might love mine more than y'all," end quote. Love that. Just a great relationship that he has with his mom. Good things to hear from the Kentucky camp. Really excited to see what they do this year. Look, I'm not putting it past them to beat Tennessee again this year. I think it could happen. We'll see. I think Tennessee's going to be very offensive heavy. We'll see what happens with defense after losing a couple people. But I think it's going to be a good matchup again this year. We'll see. Can Kentucky kind of take a couple steps forward while Tennessee's reshuffling? See what they can do against Missouri, who is returning a lot of players as well. We'll be talking about them soon next week. So I don't know. I'm liking this Kentucky team. We'll see what happens with this new offense. Only time will tell. Until then, just want to say, hey, if you're interested in this Oklahoma-Texas news, you don't have to go too far. A lot of people are writing about it. So go check out what's going on in the SEC for next season. And until then, roll Vols.